chat too, just so you know.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we have that available. Oh, it looks like we have folks in the comments. Hello.
Hey,
Hello, everyone.
What up? What up?
All right.
A shooting star.
Yeah, we're talking about oh yeah, Oregon being underrepresented. Yeah, we need more Oregon representation on the map. Folks in Oregon, hello.
I know, and there's so many awesome people like right in there, and between like Portland and Vancouver, and like a couple of other spots down there. Oh, there's Emmett. Can you hear Emmett?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's probably saw a cat or something.
It's okay, it's just Emmett.
Yeah.
I mean, Portland is full of weirdos and weird, amazing stuff. The whole Columbia River Gorge has so many amazing, like, weird things. You know, the Pacific Crest Trail goes through. Like, there's so much stuff that is, it's missing from Liminal Earth. And
the grotto. I love the grotto, even though it's like full on Catholic. It's like so amazing.
I've never been, but that is on my short list of places to go and take the Liminal Earth Spirit Oracle and have.
That'd be perfect.
Nearby-ish.
Have either of you been there, Garrett or Bex? The grotto.
No.
It's like a Catholic shrine, basically, like to the Virgin Mary, but it's like this beautiful natural cave, like grotto, like the one we were in at Waterworks Park, except like 10 times as big, with like a statue of Mary in it. And then you can go up an elevator. There's an observation deck, and it looks out like the entire, like it looks north. I don't know exactly what that is down below there, but like you can see all of the peaks, all of the volcanoes, like Mount St. Helens, Mount Adams, Mount Rainier, like all of them at once from this observation tower. And then there's like nature trails, and it's such a cool spot.
Wow.
It's worth putting up with some Catholics for it.
Let's do it. Shine our lights. Nice and bright.
No.
Oh my goodness. I actually have a new Oracle deck just for WUFO. I'm going to leave for a second and go get it. I've been seeing it everywhere online. I want to show you guys.
So while Bex is gone, we are so stoked to have our friend Kai here with us, who has been like a super, like kind of like a Liminal Earth super user since they became one of our patrons. And we all have been looking at, you know, having guests. Last week we had Rob Christofferson from the Our Strange Skies podcast. The week before that we had Katie Webb, and wait, the week before that we had Alex. Yeah, we had Alex with us. Alex was here. That was an awesome time. And so we're having like more and more like fun, cool guests, and we have a bunch of people who we keep meaning to send invites to. So stay tuned. But Kai, do you want to like tell us a little bit about yourself, just for people who might not know who you are?
Yeah. I imagine a lot of people maybe don't know who I am.
Alex, yes, it was you.
I live in the Pacific Northwest, in Portland, Oregon now. Grew up in the Midwest in what I was convinced was a haunted farmhouse. It was like 100-year-old farmhouse. I grew up about a mile down the road from a like historic kind of pioneer cemetery that I regularly would go and like do seances in at midnight. And like one of the reasons I love the idea of personal pan is that when I was a kid, I used to trade in my bucket to get my personal pan pizza, and they used to do like a Pizza Hut, like like a toy that came with it. And one time it was Connects, and I used that Connect set to build a ghost detector. And I went to the house that was like a little farther down the way that I was sure that somebody had died in. I don't know where I got that idea even, and would like sit there with this ghost detector that I made and like my notepad. So I've kind of been into weird stuff since I was a kid, and during the pandemic I kind of reconnected with that part of myself that was open to being curious about what's going on in the world. And I found y'all through the Newkirk's Phenomenon, too many, that one. And was just like, yes, this is like all the things. I love that you all like tie in working with like getting to know your plant neighbors and your bird friends, because that was a big part of me feeling like the Pacific Northwest was home for me. I had moved around a lot before this was the first place that I really chose to be, and learning the flora and fauna, especially because it was so different being on the opposite side of the Rockies and really having a different landscape than I was used to, having grown up in the Midwest and in the prairies. That was a really integral part, like just as much as learning the stories and the ghosts and the history and the mythology. So that's how I came here.
We're so happy you did.
Yeah.
This is so awesome.
I was just thinking, Garrett, do you know, I don't know if Bex would know this because she hasn't ever actually like lived here, but you know, like there's been talk of doing like an innovation corridor up I-5. Have you heard any of that? Like Chris Gregoire and a bunch of those like, you know, Seattle Civic corporate dickheads are they're like sorry. I'm not fond of these people. Yeah. Talking about this like innovation corridor between Portland and Vancouver, Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how they want like each major city there to be like part of it would be high-speed rail, which of course would be amazing. But a lot of it is like, you know, anyhow, I was thinking we need a liminal corridor.
Like a what's your vision for that? I'm curious. I mean,
So,
things
like,
come to my mind, but
okay, so start in Portland, go up to Vancouver, BC, and we need like every major city or settlement, and some of the small ones too, like finding out, like working on the liminal energy there, like somehow aligning those cities that are up and down I-5 liminally, and like maybe try to create our own like liminal ley line.
yeah.
Okay.
That's my thought. Yeah.
Didn't Katie do a thing with like creating a giant sigil that, like, I feel like maybe Katie Webb has some thoughts about how we might build this liminal corridor. I also like it kind of reminds me of some of the bridges they've built now, like what the wildlife overpasses, where they have created forest that goes over roads to create like, so that there's less car accidents, there's less fatalities for the animals, everybody's happier. But like, I feel like liminally we could create something like that too.
Yeah. And then we could make maps like those cheesy old tourist maps of Route 66 and be like, you know, come and drive the liminal corridor, preferably in an electric, eco-friendly vehicle.
That's the future we want to see.
Yeah.
I
I
love it.
remember Rand Prier used to talk about wanting to one day ride a horse on I-5, like in the ruins of, like, I can imagine that, you know, just like all the skyscrapers covered in ivy or something.
Mhm.
But yeah, I could see this is cool. I like this idea of the like that kind of pathway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's sustainable in that, like, maybe it uses public transit, maybe it uses some like biking, maybe there's parts of it that you could like kayak. I don't know, like
Yeah.
the idea of there being some human powered modes of transportation.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it.
But it wouldn't have to follow I-5 though. I think it would be like a little more zigzaggy.
Mm.
So that we could catch some other things. But like, think about the stuff that's there's all that stuff in Lewis County, like all the weirdnesses with like the nudists from Venus, and was Bat Squatch in Lewis County? I can't remember.
Was what?
Bat Squatch was Mount St. Helens.
Was it Mount St. Helens? Okay, yeah. But that's another one, and like the Mima Mounds, and there's just so much stuff you could just put on this corridor.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, there's all kinds. The Birdman.
Yeah, those Birdman stories. Those are weird because those those predate UFOs, I believe.
Mm-hmm. I think so. Yeah, 28. Got crop circles. Yeah, all kinds of stuff.
No,
the Oakville blobs. That's something we got to go there. There's over kind of when you go towards Aberdeen, some like weird gelatinous blobs fell out of the sky and riddled this town. I think in the 90s. I think that's when it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's a bunch of 1994. Yeah, there's also so much weird. Yeah, there is a corridor of weird stuff already. Just got to get it all mapped out.
Yeah. The cartographers need to come. Oh, I love it. So tonight we have like a few ideas. I do want to let everyone know that our like fund for the week that we are encouraging people to donate to is the Trevor Project. So it's the world's largest suicide prevention and crisis intervention organization for LGBTQIA friends and especially young people. So and Kai was kind enough to send that our way, bring that to our attention. So we are going to send your donations like through our WUFO website. So you go to wufo.watch/donate and it automatically redirects you right to the donate page. So they're your liaison. But you can also just go directly to the trevorproject.org. Plans for tonight, guys. What are we getting into, y'all?
Well, right now I'm real into this thing that happened this weekend. We went looking for more information about mystery oranges and Renton, the Black River riparian forest. The Bex and Jeremy and I went there, and so Bex and I had to take an early morning ferry over. And we went, it's also the place where the Screaming Well is, and we saw like this drone gnome that took Jeremy and I flying. This guy like put these goggles on us and flew his drone around, and we could see our own body from outside ourselves. It was, wow, so it's just a weird place. And we went there, we did the Little Spiller Oracle and the Estes method. We're trying to figure out like, what's your deal, Black River Riparian Forest? Like, it seems like you're trying to tell us something. What is it? And one of the things that showed up during the session is I said orca. I said orca, and I said black and white several times. And then on the way home, when Bex and I were traveling home, the ferry captain said, everyone should look on the starboard side. There's orca whales. So we went and ran to the side of the boat and saw these orca whales right off of Blake Island. And so there's some video we took of that. It's pretty exciting. So the orca whales feels like there's this connection there, something that we were tapping into. And I don't know if it's related to WUFO or not, but it just seems like maybe they have some insight into that, into what we're talking about here. And the other thing that's weird about it is it was next to Blake island, which I think in a recent TV show that Jeremy you've been watching, like Blake Island is like a secret alien base or something.
Oh yeah, no, that was a while back, but yeah, Blake Island was like the secret base for the aliens in what was that show? The Colony. The Colony.
It's like this uninhabited island, kind of off of in Seattle, and this is where the orca whales were, and
yeah.
And then also, what's the other thing? Anyway, so I just think that's interesting that the orca whales are also seen around Maury Island, which is where the Maury Island incident happened. So and that's where the crash went underwater. So maybe the orca whales have some information. And Bex found something. Maybe Bex wants to describe what she found. That website.
Oh yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I found this website because I was like, man, I want to track the whales. I got the fever. It was like mushroom hunting for me. Kind of. I was like, I know where they are now. I'm never gonna leave this spot. So, I was trying to look for other areas that folks had reported seeing orcas, and this led down a rabbit hole that eventually was like orca sounds and people using hydrophones and all of these orca hotspots to record. And then we found some guy who uses a hydrophone and plays his guitar to the orcas. Yeah. And so we've just been spiraling. We're gonna talk to the orcas.
Yeah. Well, and he plays his guitar with they respond to him.
Exactly.
Communication, yeah.
He could hear when they would stop talking and he would start playing, and then it was this back and forth, and it was really gorgeous. So we're gonna do something.
The quote he said that we were like, "That's us."
Yeah, something I can't remember now, but we're gonna be playing some of those sounds tonight.
Yeah, so there's live streams that you can go tune into these hydrophones that people have put into the water all around the Puget Sound, and I have it hooked up so when we go under and do our normal reaching out to the aerial entities, I'll actually feed in this recording of the microphone out in the Puget Sound, and maybe, it would be so cool, I think, if we heard an orca whale communicate through that. So that will be going. I think that's something we're gonna try. Who knows? It sounds really nice too. So
is that live? I couldn't tell if is it live or pre-recorded?
No, it's a live feed.
It's live. That's cool.
Yeah. They even, if you're interested, they have a whole thing about how you can work on making your own to stick somewhere, and join this network of hydrophones to record and the orca whales, which I think is amazing.
That is the coolest. I can't wait. And so, Kai, what are we, is there anything special that you would like to do tonight? I know that we kind of all do our own thing, but what are you thinking?
Yeah, so I think I might do some Estes writing with the orca sounds is what I'm thinking. I think I'm going to pipe those in. And I think I can set it up so that you can see me writing and still see my face talking.
Okay.
With the push of a few buttons. It'll either work or it won't. But yeah, I'll probably pull some cards along with you. I have a whole assortment of different decks that I have a wooden tarot, Christy Rhodes Next World Tarot, and the Wild Unknown. And I also have the Brian Froud Fairy Oracle. I've never worked with this one very much until WUFO, and I feel like it gets along with WUFO vibes. So I find myself using that a lot, which is kind of fun.
I love that.
That's awesome.
Great. speaking of like WUFO inspired decks, I saw like quite a few folks in our like Twitter community use this deck, so it's kind of a natural progression. But there's one of two. This is okay. Well, there you go. And then I ordered the UFO tarot, or no, the UFO, yeah, UFO tarot, and it's actually coming from Ukraine. And it's in Russian because the English one's completely sold out and super expensive on like the eBay and resale site. So I'm like, all right, I'll just like translate it to, yeah. So I got a UFO tarot coming, and we're gonna use it.
Support Ukraine.
I know, right? I didn't know that prior, and they were like, "I'm sorry, this is in Russian. Do you still want it?" And I was like, "She's like, also, it's gonna take longer." And I was like, no, I take as long as you want. I understand. That's crazy, but like you're still a business, and this is amazing. So yes, everyone go buy UFO tarot on Etsy in Russian. Okay, and then I got this guy from I think Rob recommended this.
I almost forgot. I just got my Oracle of the Hypogeum zine, and I cut out. I think I want to like. I cut out the little cards because the decks don't ship till the fall, and I think I want to maybe find like I feel like it's an art project, and I want to find like some magazine or like a collage paper that'll be thicker to make the backs of them. But you're right, Bex, they're sassy.
They are. We were messaging, and I was like, I'm so excited because you were telling me about your get to know reading, and I was like, yes, I can't wait to see what they end up pulling, and warned that sass may be involved. So of course, but yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that deck thing. Yeah, there was one other thing. Were we wanting to talk about our LSO reading at all? Have we been able to look deeper into that at all, or if we thought that might be related at all? Are we still simmering on that?
I'm still simmering on it. I don't mind if we like mention, kind of the general gist of it when we were there. So we did a Liminal Spirit Oracle reading at the Black River Riparian area, and for those of you who don't know, the Liminal Spirit Oracle is our newish oracular system. It comes in zine form, and basically it is an oracle that you can use to communicate with what we refer to as the liminal spirit, which is similar to the genius loci, however you choose to say it, of an area, and it acts as an intermediary between whoever's doing the reading and like the collective consciousness of the entities that make up that biosystem, kind of. And it doesn't just include like plants or mushrooms, which we love, but it also includes animals and clouds and water and parts of plants like roots. And anyhow, we went there to this area, and it's cool because you're walking down this. It's a very urban. It's very liminal in a way, though. The river itself, the Black River, is kind of a damaged river. It was like the confluence of places where traditionally local indigenous tribes would meet to like fish and trade, and but the white settlers decided that they wanted a canal to make shipping easier between Lake Washington and Lake Union out here, which, if you're not from the area, there's two big lakes kind of in the middle of this region. And when they made the cut between the two lakes to make a canal, it lowered the level of Lake Washington by like 16 feet or something, and basically like decimated the Black River. The Black River itself was no longer valid, like no longer valid as like a river kind of. And there's these depiction when we went to the Renton History Museum, and there was a quote there that was just so striking because it was from an indigenous person who was there when it happened, and they were like, the water, like, because I was thinking like, oh, it must have happened over the course of a few years or something, right? But no, it happened like instantly. Like there were people there who were like carrying out baskets of salmon that all of a sudden were like flipping around on the dry riverbed, and it was just this weird phenomenon, very like colonialist, you know, to think like, oh, we're gonna damn the consequences, we're just gonna like connect these two lakes because we want to. And anyhow, I'm rambling, I know, but the long and short is that we kind of feel as though what happened there with that river might be like a source of some of the weirdnesses that happen in that area. Kind of like the river spirits in Spirited Away, the Miyazaki movie. And we thought we should ask it, like we should ask that region. So you walk through this, these gardens, waterworks gardens, down to kind of it's a little janky in parts. Like there's a lot of litter and graffiti and, you know, typical urban stuff. But you go and all of a sudden you're next to this little river. It's not very wide anymore. And most of what you're walking on used to be the bed of the river. But there's still, you know, a couple of little streams and a section of river there. And we got to this point and we found this, it's a staircase carved into the clay on the side of a hill going up from the riverbed. And like the fact that it's in clay kind of shows you that it was under the water at one point. Like that's kind of an indicator. And you walk up this mysterious staircase in the woods and you come out into this really interesting liminal area. It's a bird habitat sanctuary. And it's like 50% invasives and 50% natives. And it's like flat and muddy and boggy. It's just this really interesting space. So we found a clearing and we did the liminal spirit oracle there, kind of asking the spirit of the place what was responsible for the weirdness there. And we got some kind of interesting answers that we're still mulling over. A lot of it having to do with like what we refer to as invasives, I think. A lot of indications of like the land being scarred by changes in the past and worried about potential future changes. But one of the things about the liminal spirit oracle is that I think we tend to look at oracles and readings and stuff as like, oh, I want to know what that means like right away. Like I want to read the book, I want to look at it. And I think that entities in the world we know they sense time in a different way than humans do. There was that video going around, like what do we sound like to dogs, that was talking about that. How like just the frame rate that animal eyes work at can make time seem like either quicker or slower. And given that that's the fact, I think that the liminal spirit oracle, like you're supposed to take your time figuring out what a reading means. And it might not, maybe not every time, but we did like the full reading with like the 5 directions, and you know, it's a long reading, it takes a long time. And I think it's like respectful to the entities that you're talking to really be thoughtful and take your time and see what it means after you sit with it, as opposed to like just going for like the, you know, looking up the meaning in the book. So anyhow, that's my spiel.
Yeah. Well, the thing too is while y'all were doing the LSO reading, I was doing Estes. I was having an Estes method session, kind of like in the middle of it. And so we still have to go over the video and see like if there's any overlap and things of the sort. But while you were talking about that, I pulled a couple of these cards from my new deck. And funny enough, I actually pulled both of the gray aliens. which is fun. But they both, so the tall grays, utilitarian, organized, intimidating. Then the short grays, timid, misunderstood, and shy. So I'm gonna dig into the book to see what that means. But I also got the Alpha Centurions, foresight, planning, and strategy. But I'm gonna kind of dig in the book a little more on these. But then I got a card that comes up quite often with WUFO. We got the Bountiful. It's time and time again, we get the Gourd and the Locust. This is actually a card that we pulled at Starvation Heights last June. So it's almost been a year. So crazy. But yeah, I'm gonna dig into these books more. Is anyone else who's pulling cards? We got Kai.
I pulled one. The Wild Unknown Tarot is a deck that also gives me sometimes they're on the verge of sassy, but like I always feel like they're very no duh sort of readings. Like it's very like no nonsense. But I think it's interesting. So I pulled the Father of Swords, which like the kind of more traditional tarot meanings I don't feel super connected to, but I'm thinking that the owl vibes are really what is standing out for me from this friend.
Definitely. Wow. Oh my gosh, look at that. Whew.
I actually just picked up a pocket version of that deck, and I haven't really used it much at all yet. But I've been looking forward to kind of digging into it.
It has my absolute favorite lovers card I've ever seen ever. It's 2 wild geese, and it always reminds me of Mary Oliver's poem Wild Geese. And like I just feel like that's such the perfect like definition of the lovers. Yes, it's just such a gorgeous card. Oh, I get like the like tingly all over, like just like thinking about it. It's my favorite. But yeah, I love this deck. This is actually the second version of this deck that I've had because I like gave it away and then I found that I was missing it. Like I thought it was like, oh, we've worked together for a long time. I feel kind of called to like give you to a friend who's interested in you. But I had to get it again because I missed it.
That's awesome.
I love that. That is a beautiful card. Wow.
Yeah.
Looking at this.
903.
Do
we go? Are we going on TikTok, Bex?
Yeah.
I got a cool card. I'm using the same one that Bex is using, and it's the. I don't know if you see this. The Galactic Federation. It's like a little WUFO of aliens, and I like to think that they are hanging out, eating snacks together, and seeing if they can contact the humans. I think that'd be really funny.
That would.
Can you see this? Maybe I can do this. Let's see.
It's kind of hard to see. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Yeah.
Nice. Look at him there, hanging out. Is that a little galaxy in the middle? Like,
yeah.
What are they?
One of them's holding like yeah, someone's holding a galaxy. Someone else has like a little, like a screen reader he's holding. Yeah, I think that they're like trying to reach out too. They get involved in human affairs, peacefully carrying out cosmic assistance, willing beings.
Maybe they're the party people, says Alex.
I know.
Yeah.
There has been this thing about like, they're all gathering and like there's going to be a meeting and I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting some like kind of serious overtones. I just pulled this from the Fairy Oracle. This is Nellis the Alchemist. This card is about inner transformation and irrevocable change.
Whoa.
Like,
what? Okay.
Hey.
And this like serious Father of Swords vibes. Like, what is going on?
Good question. Wow.
Awesome.
Alpha
Well, I'm
Centauri.
gonna pull one from the Hypogeum,
Perfect.
just for kicks. And what do we got here?
So this one, they are aquatic. We have water come up
Ooh,
all the time.
well, I got that.
They're
Anthor.
humanoid and aquatic. Good. Oh,
I got Anthor.
yay!
Yay! Anthor is always welcome here.
The antlers.
The energy of withstanding.
Do you know that the deer sometimes swim in the Puget Sound? Have you seen the videos
What?
of that?
No.
Yeah, there's like videos of that if you look it up. Maybe
That's
they're out
so
there
wild.
looking for the orca whales.
They're gonna get ate up.
Yeah.
Do you know about the island off the coast of Maryland that there are wild ponies that swim out to it? You can camp on it. It's called Assateague Island. I got to camp there once when I was like a teenager. It was awesome. But it's totally like this weirdly enchanted place with just wild ponies all over the place that go swimming in the ocean.
That's
Where is it again?
Amazing.
What was the name of it?
It's Assateague Island, and I think Chincoteague Island, which like maybe had one of those like sweaty horse books written about it, you know, like stormy and misty, and I think maybe one of those was of Chincoteague.
And North Carolina is what you said?
Assateague is off of Maryland. I'm not sure where the other one is, but
okay.
Assateague is the one that I've been to.
Maryland. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what I was thinking. Is there's Ocracoke Island in North Carolina, and that has horses, wild horses.
Mm.
That's why I was thinking it, because we go to North Carolina. Before times, we went to North Carolina every summer, to the Outer Banks to hang out and have fun, and those were there. Which I think we might be going back this, depending on a number of factors. Ooh.
MIB. I don't know what that card represents.
That's weird, because I was just thinking when you showed that card with the galaxy in the middle, it reminded me of like the end of the first Men in Black. Do you remember that? They were looking for this, like, you remember the movies Men in Black with like Will Smith. They were after this like little jewel, like that was the like MacGuffin, was like this little thing and it ended up being like on a cat's collar. And then at the end, like at the very end, the close. And if this is a spoiler for you, I don't care. At the very end,
got a couple years to see it.
Yeah, and they zoom in on this little like thing on the cat collar, and it's like the Milky Way galaxy.
Yeah,
and it just keeps zooming and zooming, and like it's sort of this weird like infinite loop thing. But it's Men in Black is the movie. So
great.
That's wild. Men in Black. I was gonna read something, I forgot. The Alpha Centaurians will only make contact with humans during specific cosmic timings, and only with humans that have developed enough conscious awareness not to agitate the higher violet frequency bandwidth they are accustomed to. What does that mean? It's pretty cool to like all of these cards are playing. They're like this. They're talking about these specific beings and if they make contact and blah blah. It's so cool. This deck is awesome. This is my first time really cracking it open. I didn't realize that Garrett had it, but it makes like now that I've seen the cards, I've seen you pull them like week after week.
Yeah, Santa Claus brought it to me.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Kai's holding up. I think I know what it is.
I pulled
Silence.
silence, which I think is interesting. So last week, when we got sentences, I asked about listening, and I feel like this actually ties into what you were saying earlier, Jeremy, about like doing like the LSO taking a while. Like I did one 3 weeks ago, and I feel like I'm still kind of like stewing over it because not not only, you know, did the full like 5 different sigils, but I went like extra wild. And so for rather than like gathering things and tossing them, I kind of like found different like, oh, here's a group of like stems of this plant. I don't know what this plant is. So not only am I going to like count the stems to figure out is it odd or even, but I'm going to ID that. So I have just like, there's just so much information there that like, yeah, it would be a huge disservice to try to figure it out all at once. And I feel like it's the kind of thing that you don't figure it out up here. You have to kind of like let it marinate in your subconscious for a while for things to bubble up. And I feel like the listening and the silence like maybe has things to do with that. I also like Garrett's idea about the pendulum. I actually ordered one from a local shop. So I'm excited to hit that when it arrives.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's exciting. Okay.
Cool.
It could also just be that the Oracle of the Hypogeum was asking me to shut up.
It is sassy.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So it is, about 11 past. When do we want to start the session and what? So we know what Kai is wanting to do. I would love to just do my normal session with the tinny tones. That is my new normal. I actually gave my SB7 to Garrett, I think, because I was like, I really genuinely don't need this. I love this infinitely more. And I was talking to Katie about it, and I'm like, it's just like, she was saying it's easier on the brain. And I think that's why I like it so much. But it makes me feel like I'm still a part of the experience, whereas the spirit box makes me feel too removed, if that at all makes sense.
Mhm.
But yeah, there's some tie to that, and I lost my train of thought. But okay, so Garrett and Jeremy, what are you guys wanting to do tonight?
I like the idea of having like a regular start time for the sessions. I mean, we haven't really talked about doing it before, but it might be nice so that, our viewers knew like, oh, I don't want to hear these guys at the beginning. I just want to come in for the meat and potatoes, or,
Sure.
or just to, but I don't know what time that should be. Like
9:15.
9:15, 9:20. How long? It's nice to have a little time at the end to decompress too,
Mhm.
instead of just like stopping.
Definitely.
What do you think, Garrett?
I think we should go. I think we should just listen and be, I think I'm going to do the typing thing again. So I'm not going to be talking, but I'm going to be listening to a spirit box. And I think we can all kind of listen for the whale sounds. If people want to go, I'll put in the Port Townsend feed here. If Kai, you want to pick one of the other feeds. And then I think we should just like focus on being pretty quiet and listen and let's see if anything comes up. I think
that sounds good. I'm just here to provide color commentary, so
and if anyone gets a knock on the door from the MIB, just
oh my god,
let us know.
Yeah, hope you have some
a
Jello.
picture right before a session.
I think we should go for it though. Oh, I'm ready.
Okay.
So
yeah,
I'm gonna tell me if this feed comes to y'all, and try this. I'm gonna probably not be able to be heard anymore, but you'll hear the feed. So
okay.
So one thing I was just thinking, like this is a hydrophone, is that right?
Yes.
So we might not only get orcas.
Mm-hmm. We might also get underwater alien bases.
I would think more like octopi, but sure, that.
I was just oh yeah, for sure. Especially, I wish there was one around the Narrows Bridge, because Garrett and I were talking about the giant octopus that live under there, and all that folklore that turned out to be kind of true. Okay. Yeah, we'll have to reach out to them sometime too. The squid pie.
I'm assuming that water noise. That's the feed.
Someone's house flooding.
I hope everybody peed before this. You're gonna have to soon if you.
Oh gosh. Okay. Okay, I'm going under 2.
So if anybody has any questions, we have a variety of different communication methods we're trying this evening. We're listening to the sound of orcas. Everybody can hear that. It's that trickling sound you're hearing is a live feed from a microphone under Puget Sound, and we're trying to listen for orcas or whatever else is down there. Garrett is going under using a traditional spirit box. Bex is going under using the sounds provided by John Tenney that he created specifically. And then Kai was going to do some automatic writing. Is that still the plan? I believe so. So does anyone have any questions today? Is Martin there? He escaped, says Garrett. What did he escape from? He there. This is home. Hi.
So it looks like I'm at this beach on the east side of the Key Peninsula. It's right north of Devil's Head. I made a video about rangers sniffing UFOs there. But it's a beach that overlooks McNeil Island and Anderson Island. It's nighttime. The ocean's kind of choppy, and I see like a really bright light coming just like in the sky right between the two islands. I have to cover my eyes to see it.
Does Martin need our help? Out of this state, moving. Garrett is putting on a brain machine. We are live on TikTok, and we're also live on various other platforms. You can find us at WUFO.watch if you want to see all of us. Otherwise, if you're on TikTok, Bex is listening to audio to try to communicate with aerial entities.
I'm watching a tree grow right out of the beach. Like a really big Douglas fir, just kind of like coming up out of the water.
If anyone has any questions for aerial entities, go ahead and ask.
I'm hearing like a really deep gargling like voice. I can't make out what's being said, but it's like
Oh, we have a question on TikTok. Will my house sell soon? I don't know if these entities will be able to answer that, but that's an interesting question.
6 feet under.
Generation, says Garrett.
You should be. It's creepier at night.
How many are you there?
Rainier, Rainier. Rainier, rain, near.
Were you living? Liar.
I'm hearing like the sounds of like a metal detector or something.
I'm hearing quite a lot of activity on the hydrophone.
So I think I'm in like a submarine, but no, you know what? I think I'm maybe driving one of those like underwater drone things, and there's a light in the ocean floor for something. I think it's making that voice. But I can see the drone like in first person.
How does water help them communicate? How does water help you communicate? All get older. What are you showing me in the ocean?
I'm seeing like a ripple in the water coming from underneath, but it looks like it's something that's like created when you have like a really giant speaker or something. We've seen those, or like the speakers vibrate and it makes like a glass of water have these weird patterns. I'm seeing those patterns like in this aerial perspective of that bay area of in between McNeil Island and it's like that effect of something like a speaker vibrating underneath it. It's creating like these weird patterns. But it's like strong enough of a vibration that I can feel it from the shoulder. I'm not sure. Yes, again.
Protein. Mount Rainier, do we need to go there?
I'm hearing the sound of like a tap dripping. The faucet dripping into like an empty sink or like an empty bathroom.
Similar to what's on the microphone, but Bex can't hear it.
Sounds like a bathtub draining. The sink draining.
Kai is still trying some automatic writing.
I'm seeing like the skeletons of some fish on the beach that are all dried up. But the fish look like they're scared.
Friendly. What can the orcas tell us? Earth in it. What is Earth in? It's time. That is downright spooky. Yes, it is. Why are the fish scared?
Someone on the beach like walks by and they like very tall. But the only thing I can make out about them in details, they have a hat on that looks like a giant stalk of broccoli. It's really cool hat. Makes me laugh, but I'm like looking at these like fish that would literally look like they're scared to death. And they're all dehydrated and crispy and forgotten on the beach. He's just walking with his broccoli hat.
What is it time for? Hard to keep. New temper, says Garrett.
And I see like a dragon. Just like it's like a white dragon. It's just going from the boat ramp into the water. Okay.
Are there any entities who can speak to us on the hydrophone? Look into the maze. Ooh.
This is unusual. I heard like a cuckoo clock. Cuckoo, cuckoo.
I wonder if broccoli is this week's snack. Every time we do this, some kind of food is mentioned. Usually
Come
snacks.
here for the weekend.
You're going to forget it. Learn. Look into the maze. You're going to forget it. Learn. What should we learn?
This is my chance.
I was listening to Whoa.
And I've seen them before, and the kid, nice drive, says Garrett.
I was listening to the Bush Point one, and all of a sudden, the audio cut out completely, and at the same time, my cat decided to push something off of my desk, and I was like, "Well, yes, that's the end of that."
Yeah, goodness gracious.
But I usually write, but this time I did some drawing. Like it was.
Cool.
It was really interesting. Initially, there was a lot of just like being underwater, and when it's really murky, and like I could see a lot of that like kelp that has those like big kind of bubbles, like those kind of like yellowy.
Yeah.
And kelp first, but the water was really silty and murky, and I could see this like
zooming out,
kind of large, like orangey yellow, like blob or something off in the distance. And then I could have zoomed out, and there was like a lighthouse kind of a vibe.
Oh wow. We have a question. How can we reach the maze?
Ooh.
Furniture. Family.
I'm seeing like a bank
Look who's walking.
near some water source that has a couple of like these teal tubes coming out, and they spell SY.
Yeah, Bex was moving her arms the same time that I was.
And a fur coat comes up.
It's obvious.
Pipe.
View. Well, let's do the word of the week. See if they say it. Does anybody have any good suggestions for a word to focus our intent on to see if it comes through on one of these methods? First word that somebody posts. Raccoon. That's great. So everybody focus your attention on raccoon. We got 3 words, but raccoon was first, so I think raccoon we're going to go with this time. But remember,
crazy storm cloud. It's kind of dark, and you're just hyper speed. Watching a storm roll in.
We need to take the Anna L to the lighthouse. Yeah. Yeah. See our TikTok for more details on that.
Europe.
Europe? When Gary gets wander? Okay.
She knows.
She knows. Who is she? Ooh, animal fuel.
A license to be. Looking into this fountain, but it's like there's this white wall. It's kind of like a Greece, Santorini, or Mykonos, and it's like this white wall, and it's this fountain, and it has this tiny little pool. And I'm just kind of looking into it and seeing different letters appear, seeing P and K.
People are new. Image of a chicken pecking my face. Oh my.
I looked up in a molecule, since that's what I pulled. It says raw, unfettered magic, a minuscule change without which a system would collapse. Transformation or inner alchemy.
That's the fermentation card. With microbes that fermenting. CDK or CPK? I don't know.
Also seeing the name Anna.
Where's the oracle? A large package.
There's something saying, I can't see straight, I can't see straight. This evocation. This is my
Is there someone or something trying to speak through the hydrophone? Are you still here with us?
for security.
I just pulled Mether again.
Ding. Face in the tree, like a mask almost. Like, it's very animated.
Garrett, are you out?
Where were you when
I don't have it.
the volcano came?
Did you say the female king?
Could have been wishful thinking, but I heard the female king.
That's what I was wondering, if it was Kame or King. Yeah.
More research.
More research. That tracks. Stylish.
Now it's just like very fun, like super like genderqueer fashion vibes, I feel like happening.
Awesome. Stylish revenge, even better. Why do you need revenge?
Colors kind of flooding through. I'm seeing like, yeah, pretty much every color. I wonder if that's my signal. How about? Yeah, I'm seeing like both colors.
Garrett heard, I want a chocolate. There's the snack of the week.
Yeah, I'll take that as my sign that it's the end of my session.
Sounds like a kid pixie choir. We're smiling. Oh my. Welcome back, Bex.
Welcome back. Bex, did you use the flying ointment this from Jagged Path?
I forgot. Damn it.
I just wondered because
Right here.
I use both the flying ointment and her fly agaric tincture.
Amazing. I use the tincture always.
Yeah, and I just wondered, like, because I feel like there was a little while, because I could like a little bit hear you, even though I had my earbuds in with the orca sounds. And I feel like there was a moment when you were describing like some lights or something that was like, I was drawing like a very similar thing. I was like underwater in like a kelp field with that like the kelp with the like really bulbous kind of like yellowy balls. But I could see this like just like this big like yellowy orange kind of glowing orb off in the distance that looked like it could be some sort of like vessel or something, but it was so murky in the water that I couldn't see very clearly. I feel like you might have been tuned into something.
Maybe. I love the idea of us using like the same tincture and ointments too. It makes me feel connected. And so yeah, that's so wild. I remember that part pretty vividly. I was just we were scanning the floor for something, and it switched between like, the seaweed forests, and then it was pretty sandy and clear. But yeah, it was really interesting because I saw like the really blinding light at the beginning, but then we kind of hung under and became the light, you know, and we were looking for something else. It was weird.
You said a phrase at one point, and I was wondering if you remember. It was either the female king or the female kind or the female something like that. Do you remember anything about what you may have said? Okay.
No, I don't remember. I don't remember there being too many moments where I heard something audibly and repeated it. I think that most of it was visual. I don't remember the things I did say because they seemed pretty unrelated to what I was seeing the majority of the time. So I kind of spouted them out, and I didn't think to remember them. That's pretty interesting. I'm reading the comments now.
Yeah.
But yeah, the female. What were you saying? The first female king.
The female king wasn't Nefertiti the first female? I have no idea.
I don't either.
That's yeah.
Interesting. Any other cool, weird moments? I'm still trying to like remember everything, but I saw that you did. You pull this too?
I pulled it twice.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Yeah. We pulled Kai pulled Animalcule, which is like wild magic, but it's also like fermentation, kind of.
Yes.
It's microbes that help you with
Okay.
that's hard to get.
These microorganisms. I love when folks, like really intelligent folks, talk about the possibility of extraterrestrials being like at a molecular level, or just these microorganisms. So that card always makes me think of that. Of like, what if we find alien bacteria?
Yeah. I also I just pulled this.
Of course. Oh man, well, that was such a good time. Garrett, what went on in your session?
Can you hear me? I don't know if my mic is.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was interesting. I mean, I'm still getting used to the spirit box, the SP7, and like trying to discern in there like what is obviously just like a radio signal, and it's just like a weird sound or anomaly, or it was interesting. But there's one point when I was like seeing this like vision of a chicken pecking my face. That was weird. But also like this, I was thinking about this card, and I was like, okay, I'm thinking about this group of people at this galactic conference,
Party.
you know, and I was at a party, and I felt like, okay, I'm gonna be I'm gonna go up to this one of these things, you know, and I walked up to it, and it kind of said, that's when I heard that thing that said people are new. It felt pointed. It felt like you're new here. That kind of feeling. It kind of felt, it gave me chills a little bit, because it was like this image that I was seeing, and then that's when I heard it, you know, and it was like, you're nothing special, kind of is what it felt like, you know, like that kind of feeling, derogatory or something. Anyways, that was kind of creepy, and I did feel like a lot of I thought at one point I thought like something had fallen or crashed behind me or something. Just like a lot of sensation of something in my face, like is Amber come downstairs or something, but nothing. Yeah. So I don't know. That was weird. I don't know if that's just like weird being in it for so long. It's kind of new to me, but
I saw you looking around at one point. Yeah.
Yeah, that was bizarre. Kind of creepy. I had more creepy vibes the whole time. I was feeling creeped.
That's interesting that you had that sensation, because after listening to the sounds and like doing a thing for, I don't know, like 10 or 15 minutes, at the same time, the audio on the Orca like live stream that I was listening to cut out, and my cat knocked something off of my desk. So it was like a simultaneous like cut of noise and like noise suddenly coming from a different direction. So there's something.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, did that happen the same time I was doing? Is that what you're saying, or just for you that those two things simultaneously?
I don't know if they happened at the same time, but it's interesting that those
Yeah.
things happened to us in the same session.
Right.
Like,
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna
Anybody?
answer
Oh, go
Alex's question here.
Yeah.
Bex, did it feel like you were in different waters than the Shasta ones? Absolutely. I feel like I knew exactly where I was. That beach that I filmed a couple TikToks back, Ranger and I were trying to find this marina in Devil's Head where someone mentioned being like a really good UFO watching spot. And it took us like a whole day to find it because the majority of the shoreline was private. But we did find this little boat launch, and you can perfectly see McNeil Island and Anderson Island. And so I felt personally that the entire time I was in the water, I was just in that area. So it was very different than the Shasta ones for sure. Yes.
Do you remember the hat, Bex?
The broccoli hat.
Yes. I had to ask about that.
Wait, did she say broccoli hat?
Yeah.
Oh man,
So
that's for you, Jeremy. That's in your court.
yeah. I didn't mean to be so loud there. So it was just cracking me up because I did forget I was not gonna. But I could see I was hanging out on the beach right at the boat launch here, and I could see someone walk really fast down this down the road into the boat launch and just right into the water, and he had a broccoli hat on.
That is awesome.
But then that was, I can't remember if that was before or after, like a tree just like grew out of the boat launch. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, is this a tree or a rocket? It looks like a Douglas fir, but it's flying now, I guess. It grew out of the ocean. I don't know what the fuck that was.
We definitely got to find broccoli hats. Totally.
It's just a natural like birch progression, I feel like.
That could be our equivalent of like fezzes, like the Shriners wear. We'll have broccoli hats.
Broccoli hats.
They have to be like the same material.
just kind of imagining like the top of like the Veggie Tales asparagus people.
No.
That was exactly. I was indoctrinated. I knew exactly.
I knew you would know. That's why.
I know me too well.
No.
Laughing so loud that like, oh
Broccoli
no.
hats for all.
What was that visitor you got there on your thumb, Jeremy? Do you know what kind of bug that is?
That was a stink bug.
Stink?
Oh.
A little stink bug friend came and hung out with me.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, like a chef's hat. That's true. Chef's hat do kind of look like.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Here's dye them
Something like
green.
that. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect.
Wow.
Or just
apparently-
attach a bunch of little balloons to a chef's hat, like green balloons.
So
Yes.
it's like a nice budget
Love
friendly Halloween. So when Marine says, I liked how Bex was moving her arms around the same time Kai was. Oh, was that so? That's interesting.
Yeah, that was interesting.
We're both really animated. And then Mount Rainier has been coming up. So what's interesting about Mount Rainier, I heard Rainier, and then I heard rain is near. And I thought that was a fun little saying. I kind of just want to start saying Rainier, rain is here. I need to rain. I feel like maybe it's something that people already say, but I've never heard it. Or if I have, it's way back here. It's so cool though. Rainier, rain is here. But Rainier was brought up in my my interview with Vanessa over at Personal Pans. We talk a little bit about the particular clouds and things, and so funny that it came up tonight too in the session.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do my thing I'm not allowed to do on camera. I'm gonna do it right
I'm looking up stink bug folklore and symbols. What it means.
We get them here fairly regularly, but once again, they're one of the quote invasive unquotes. That word we're trying to evolve beyond. The funny thing about stink bugs is that, like, you guys know Emmett, my big giant Doberman, like an 80-pound Doberman. he's like horrified of stink bugs, like beyond just like, oh, I don't like that. He's like, I am gonna run out of the room and hide in my cubby, terrified of stink bugs.
Oh
It's
my
hilarious.
I can see his little goofy butt just.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like so scared. And like he'll freak out for the whole evening if the stink bug shows up. He'll be like shivering and like looking around and I don't know. I think maybe he must have eaten one once or something and like
Oh, never again.
yeah, it was a bad experience.
That's what I was gonna say. It sounds like he had a traumatic encounter, and you must be real sensitive to like just the faintest whiff of stink bug smell.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, did Ranger act up at all during the session? He's asleep next to me. He's just the sweetest little baby angel right now. I'm just gonna kind of do one of these. Look at that.
Oh,
He's passed out. He's such a good boy. Anyways. Yeah, so anything else that kind of stood out? I can't wait to watch this one back. I say it every time. But it's true.
well, I'm curious as to if anybody heard anything or had any experiences around the sound of the hydrophones.
Oh yeah. Did you guys
Like
hear
we didn't hear anything like specifically orca like. I mean, but it would be kind of hard to parse, I think.
Okay.
But it was kind of interesting. It was neat having it there, and I'm curious to watch this again and see like if there's like an ebb and flow of the water sounds along with the conversation. But I didn't know if anybody else did.
Yeah. We have a comment here from JD West. There was a point where Bex was talking about a dripping faucet and a draining tub, and that's what we were hearing as well. So cool. So I actually was kind of debating whether or not I would share that because Katie and I both watched The Ring last night, and we realized that the two young ladies at the beginning are named Becca and Katie. And Katie dies. So there's a lot of like water associations there, a lot of dripping, and so I was like, maybe that's just like my brain from like the consequences of falling asleep to the ring, you know. But I wanted to say that anyways, and I didn't know how, if you guys were playing the sounds or if I had heard them, but it was very distinct of like dripping into an empty sink. And then it would switch to like the loud draining of like an almost empty tub, like right at the end. So I was like, if the hydrophones sound like that, that's wild. It's pretty wild that they're just listening to that. But I don't think I heard it. I think that was something else.
So were you all watching the US American version of it?
Yeah. Yes.
The one with what's her name?
From 2002.
Yeah. So isn't there a scene in there where they're on a ferry and like a horse?
Yeah,
like,
I guess with
up the ferry or something like.
I think that might. Yeah. It is. And you know what the name of that ferry is? Is the Quinault. I caught that last night. And I thought that was cool because I just went to the Quinault Village. That's one of the spots that we're kind of potentially locating the, disappearing pizza place. So Quinault comes up a lot just in like liminal Earth myth. So I thought that was wild when I saw the QUIN and I was like, wouldn't it be funny if? And then of course, it was spelled out right in front of me.
That thing where they find the corpse still gets me every time. I haven't seen it in so long.
Yeah, I think apart from me, I really just don't like is the video itself. I find it deeply unsettling, and I know it's by design, but I just can't watch it. But I am one of those people too that really likes the sequel, and I know that Katie Webb has got beef about it. But I don't know if you guys saw the sequel, but I love I think my love for it's more from like a cinematic perspective because they graded it all in like various shades of blue and it's very Pacific Northwest and moody, and I love it for that reason. I don't think that the writing's very strong at all, but that's just me being a fan for a minute.
Look what I just pulled, you guys.
Oh shit!
Oh.
So does that mean
That's the same
meditation
card.
hour?
Yeah, I don't know. It's the same card. If you came in a little late, it's the same card that Kai pulled earlier.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And so, you know, having designed this deck and having, you know, created these cards for silence, the only, you know, definition in the packet itself says silence. It's pretty one of those obvious implied cards. For this particular instance, you know, it's been pulled twice now. So how would you interpret that, you know, with your knowledge and with your experience with the deck?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, just that, like, I would interpret it as like, you know, kind of like we were saying earlier, like, take some time thinking about this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to like figure it all out right now, or even anytime soon.
Right.
Just like, don't talk, but listen to everything.
Observe.
Yeah.
Reminds
I
me
was
of
thinking
Nick's
about.
tweet.
Yeah.
What's that?
Reminds me of Nick's tweet that we shared earlier.
Yeah, that was a great tweet.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
I was just,
Okay,
melanated
great.
magician. Is that what you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I was just gonna talk about that because it reminded me of that too. So they wrote, I was sitting in our backyard with some wine, looking to the stars for WUFO, trying to focus my intentions on communicating with whatever is out there, and was struck with awe, knowing that I'm doing the same thing humans have been doing forever. And by that, I don't just mean looking up and having a drink. Oh, that's true. But like, we've been trying to find meaning out there from the jump. I don't know, not a new concept for me. It resonated emotionally in a way it hasn't quite before. And it reminds me the first WUFO, just like the first time I went out and just like looking up at the sky, and I had a similar kind of feeling of like, I think it's like post-pandemic thing too, or just but like reconnecting with everything and kind of emerging out of a like hibernation, but just kind of reconnecting and like being like kind of awed by this, you know, just like something you take for granted. And so that it's one of my favorite things about WUFO is not necessarily just, I mean, I would love to see a UFO, but just like that little moment of time. So I don't know, maybe that's something we should be doing when we go out to do our look up tonight. It's just kind of being silent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And Maureen just made a couple of sessions ago, it said, listen.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's very true. I love too that like listening to Alex and Rob's sessions back. There's like a party kind of vibe, you know, and it's like, oh, you know, folks are getting together and they're gathering and there's this party and now it's it's kind of tooting a different tune, right? It's like, okay, now's the time to listen, maybe be a little introspective, and really you take advantage of this moment for all of the silence and the peace that you can get from it, more than it being a party, I guess, this week.
Yeah.
That's
Did you get the Men in Black again?
Let me pull. I want to see if I can
I'm just thinking about Men in Black, how they try to silence you.
Yeah.
Oh,
They come in, they
shoot.
say, "Don't speak."
Did
And
you
maybe
draw
there's
again?
No,
Like,
I was just thinking about like I got this earlier, and then we got the silence card, and I was thinking like maybe there's a different reason why they're telling you to be silent, and they're coming to you instead of like maybe it's not a nefarious thing. Maybe it's
It's not a
like, take
hindrance.
like stop talking about this and just sit with it and be silent for a while,
Mhm.
and instead of like going to the news and whatever the people are doing, and maybe it's not like a, I don't know, it just made me think about that.
I have like, oh, go ahead.
No.
I was just gonna. This is making me think about like Bex. I think in that Personal Pan podcast, you were talking about how you and Katie like listen to music and like kind of like have kind of a routine to get yourself like amped up. I kind of feel like on a bigger scale, like we've been having all this like fun with WUFO and all of this silliness, and there's, you know, like, and it's almost like, okay, we've like built it up to this point now that like they're ready to like show us a little bit of a different side and be like, and it feels important that like with as much going on in the world as there is, that there's this moment of like there's it feels a little bit solemn isn't quite the right word, but like a little bit like there's like joy and silliness and like fun in this, but there can be like power in it too, in a like quiet, silent sort of way.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. That's
Yeah.
interesting. I pulled one more card. The Lyrians.
What are they?
The Lyrians. Lyrians.
Lyra. That's the constellation, the harp.
Yes, strength, courage, and bravery. I'm gonna look up.
And
Oh my gosh! Guess what they are? Guess what they are?
What?
They're feline.
Oh, interesting. I thought you were going to say they were orcas.
I don't know. I feel like the cats, the feline, are like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Bigger than if it were orcas. I don't know, because we've been getting cat synchronicity since the beginning, and I've never actually looked into like if there's a feline alien race or anything. We got that one message of we are cat people, and it always stuck with me. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, here they are. This is why I bought this deck.
Y'all,
Siren.
can we talk to the cat from Red Dwarf? Because that would be amazing.
That is.
I've never thought about that.
I haven't thought about that show in so long, but that would be perfect.
Oh my gosh. Maureen, did Argento send the orcas? So I guess that could potentially give us some answers as to who sends us these. We almost get weekly gifts, it seems, and Garrett and I interpreted these orcas to be our gift for the week. And you know, we always get those messages of you know, we have a gift for you, X, Y, and Z. But this strength, courage, and bravery, I'm very interested. Does this mean, like, personally for me, I feel like it's like, okay, no, it's time to go back to like your haunted beach. Time to like do some more sky watching. Let's like, you know, tough up just a little bit. Spend a little extra, maybe 5 extra minutes. And yeah, because I've been kind of avoiding going back there for a while. I've just been a little creeped out. But I think this is like a personal message in some small capacity of like, all right, strength, courage, bravery, let's go. You got Star Watching to do. Now's the time. But that's like, yeah, that's wild. The cat associations continue. There's a feline race out there. Oh my gosh. Oh man.
I had a couple of thoughts.
Sure.
One is like, I was thinking about the card that Garrett showed. And I was thinking about like the snacks and bringing snacks and stuff like that. And it reminded me of the tradition of the potlatch. Like the Northwest native indigenous tradition of the potlatch, where, you know, it would be like a gathering where everyone would like try and kind of outdo each other by bringing the biggest gift, like bringing the coolest, you know, and the person who gave away the most is the person who like was the most esteemed.
Oh my God.
And I thought of that in terms of this, like we, investigating all of this stuff in general is like, we ask a lot of these entities, like, even on like if you're like just a standard ghost hunter of some kind and you go to a haunted house, like you're asking a lot of these entities who you know, John Tenney occasionally talks about the amount of literal, like physical energy work, like physics, it would take for a disembodied entity of some kind to like create vibrations in the air that your ears could perceive. And it's a lot, right?
Yeah.
A lot. And And he goes on to say, like, he thinks that it would be easier for them to like flip a switch in our brains to allow us to hear it. But regardless, like, we're going into a space that these entities live in, and asking them for like this huge like effort to communicate with us. What are we giving back? Like, what are we giving to them? What are we offering them? And it makes me think about this whole like thing where standard ghost hunters and ghost adventurers go into places and they're looking for demons and they're looking to like beat up the demons and stuff.
Right.
And it's like, if you came into my house and you didn't offer me anything and started asking me a bunch of weird questions and asking me if I was real, I might get a little upset too. I mean, so what if we started coming from a place of generosity, of like, giving to the entities that we're trying to communicate with, and that is part of the message of like snacks and potlatches and stuff like that. It makes me really think that sometime in the next year, I mean, COVID willing, sometime in the next year, I really think we need to try and get like a physical group of people together, and have everyone bring something,
like a elephant exchange of some kind.
Well, no, like a potlatch. Like,
Oh yeah,
you're not necessarily even going to get anything. Like, the spirit is that you're providing something without expecting anything in return.
Yeah. I feel like in some way we have been facilitating that, because it's very much within like the WUFO repertoire to bring a snack with you. And so I feel like we are kind of hosting virtual potlatches at this point. And I love that you brought up potlatches, because one of the beaches that have been the most heavily like known for UFO activity in the Hood Canal area is the Potlatch Forest, the Potlatch Park, past Union. It's like on the way past Union on your way to Hoodsport. And so I've been wanting to like go check that place out. But yeah, it's interesting to think about our virtual potlatch and everyone knowing that these entities that we contact are snacky.
And then the second thing I wanted to share, and this will be my last thing I'll share tonight. I found that quote from that video about the guy who plays guitar and has the orcas talk with him. And the quote is, he says, "I'm not trying to solve a mystery. I'm here to celebrate it."
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
I love that.
Goodness.
It's so awesome.
Personal motto. So good.
Yeah.
I can't take credit for this idea. Somebody posted it in the Discord that they take birdseed with them, but I just repurposed like an old tin, but I take birdseed with me now and leave it out on like a stump or somewhere when I do my liminal spirit things that I like. It's intentionally the no sprout kind, so I'm not like doing any like I'm not spreading it around any non-native seeds or anything, but that like I've often felt like I want to do something that feels appropriate without appropriating, and I feel like birdseed is kind of a perfect. So thank you whoever had that idea. And I feel like going with that spirit of gifting is, I don't know, I almost feel like there's something to the idea of like, there's like, you're not supposed to eat fairy food and don't take anything that they eat or drink, but I almost wonder if like the flip side of that is like, don't go into those spaces expecting to receive things. Go into those spaces like
offering,
like expecting to give. Yeah.
I love it. Such a good yes. Someone's experiencing deja vu in the comments. Nice. And asked what we are bringing. Oh yeah, that's wild. I love the idea of everyone like bringing something very personal or very so Katie often shares that the thing that we were talking about at the beginning that she created, it was at Fort Knox, and it was a massive altar spread over this entire fort, and it had an altar for each element. It created like this big invisible like space. And I really liked the idea of the fact that she like spent a month making all of the stuff for the altar. She made all the candles, and she put her intention into every little piece of everything. And something that she really liked that we did for our WUFO offerings were like, I make like handmade pies, or when we use UFO water for things. She believes that those little things really make up that difference, make it more personable, but make it a gift from the heart. And so I think we don't always have to focus on maybe doing something new or different every time, but making sure that we like pump it full of our intention and just our heart, and then giving that I think is nice to focus on and to remember.
I was shuffling the Hypogeum deck while I was reading the quote from the guitarist,
Mm-hmm.
and I pulled this.
Oh wow. I saw you splash it for a second.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah,
Cool.
I pulled this one to finish. This one kind of popped out when I was putting it away.
Yeah. That's like environmental pollution. Like,
Yeah. The bird-headed one too is interesting. Because we were talking about Lewis County, and the yeah.
And the chicken that was pecking my face.
That's right.
Oh no! I forgot. Yeah, where is it?
It was like this feeling of like laying on the ground and a chicken.
I'm getting a knock on the door. Hang on.
Oh wait, could that be an MIP? What just happened?
Here come the men in black.
Oh no!
All right, let's end the broadcast so people don't know what happened. Leave them in suspense. Bye, everyone. That was fun.
Gary, you gotta kick out of that.
Man in black. It was Emmett.
Oh
was
man,
Emmett.
that would be
Okay.
so mean.
Yeah.
I was threatening to just end the broadcast right then.
It was Emmett. It was not a man in black.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Well, it is about that time.
Yeah.
Past time. So thank you everyone, especially our East Coast friends, for sticking around.
That
Goodness.
was doggy yawn, yeah.
Special thanks to Kai for joining us and all the support. And I hope that you had a great time and that we, I think we have some things to think on for sure from this.
Yeah, I had an amazing time. Thank you so much for having me. Shout out to any of I told people at work about this today. So anybody who decided to come hang out and see the weirdness, thanks for doing that.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, we are definitely going to be extending invites. We have a huge list of folks that we'd like. We're going to work on the East Coast show too. I know it's just hard with everything that we have going on, but we are going to dedicate some time. I think we just need to figure out some like back end admin stuff for that. But good reminder for everyone, if you are maybe joining late, if you missed tonight, we do keep this video up for around 24 hours, maybe a little more. So you get a chance to watch it if you were sleepy or busy. So that's awesome. There's also not going to be a Katie and Bex live this week. I think we're going to shoot for earlier next week, and we're going to have a special guest. But we're going to do like a private session just between us. We might share that, so keep your eyes out. Kai, where can people find you?
You can find me on most of the socials at Speed of Human, or you can find my website is just my name, kaijensen.com. if anybody is going to McMinnville's UFO Fest on Saturday, you can also find me there.
Oh my god.
Can you do a special report for us?
Yes, please.
There's at least one other person going. I think we'll have maybe a little tiny meetup, and I will totally give you a report.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
can't wait. It's like our dream to have a table there.
Yeah.
I'll
I
get the lay of the land. Find out who you need to talk to make that happen.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love it.
It'd be awesome.
I think Whitley Strieber is going to be there. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Get up. Yeah. Ask him if he wants to come to WUFO.
Ask him to put like the actual initial communion encounter on the map at Liminal Earth.
Yeah, totally.
Oh.
This is your mission.
You guys are awesome. Okay, final words.
The Trevor Project.
Yes.
We are soliciting funds for if the Trevor Project, whether you're watching live right now or if you're watching this in the future, drop them some funds, please. Excellent organization. WUFO.watch/donate will get you there for the next week or so. Or just, look up the Trevor Project. And if you're privileged enough to be able to do so, it's just an amazing cause that we are happy to solicit donations for.
Yeah, it's a super rad organization. It's by and for queer folks, supporting folks who are experiencing mental health difficulties or other things. And it's a really, really cool network.
Oh no, Emmett just saw the stink bug, you guys.
Oh no.
I better go take care of this.
Alrighty. Well, until next time. Thanks for joining us,
Thanks,
everyone.
everybody.
Okay.